Hey guys, so I decided to do a video about Americorps and whether or not you should do it, because there's a lot of videos on YouTube about people's Americorps experience, but they don't really go into the nitty-gritty details that a lot of people need to know or want to know. So I'm gonna do that. I'll try to avoid talking about my experience to a minimum. I mean, I can't avoid it, but that's not what this video is about. It's about to know the technical aspects, the financial aspects, yada yada yada. So Americorps. There's different types of Americorps. There's like Vista, NCCC, and State National. It's whatever, man. I mean, at the end of the day, yeah, they each do specific things, but it's more or less the same, to be honest with you. You could have ones where you work at a school, others where you work at, cleaning rivers. I mean, if you can think about it, it probably exists. It just depends where you are. So, I live in New Jersey, and obviously, you don't have many farms here. So if you're in Iowa, yeah, you probably find something along the lines of, maintaining the land. But here in New Jersey, it's all about just schooling and stuff like that. So you could serve 3 total terms, right? 3 full terms. So there's full terms and then half terms. I served the half term when I first started. It was 6 months, and then I served a year term with a different organization. So yeah, half 6 months, full 1 year. Okay, and you can serve 3 full years, 3 years. However, with education award, you can only get 2. For only 2 terms, you get an education award. So 3rd year, you wouldn't get anything. 3rd full year, you wouldn't get anything. So that you get roughly around 5,500. So times 2, you get around 11,000 if you were to go for the whole thing. So let's go into the pay, because a lot of people don't discuss this. It varies. At the most you'll probably get is $450 a paycheck. But again, it varies depending on where you are, what you do. I read someone getting $200 a week or a paycheck, and I mean, $450 is one thing, but 200, that's a little ridiculous. But some people do it. It's their choice. A lot of these other videos, they talk about like a job. It's not a job. Okay, they make this very clear. Why do they say it's not a job? Because if it was a job, they'd be in violation of labor laws. That's really why it is. Because you're technically being underpaid for working a full-time job. So you don't, if you have a complaint, I mean, there are avenues. If you have an issue, there are avenues of how you can get it solved, but you don't have the same protection as a worker would here in the United States. The only good side of this is that it's pretty hard to get fired. I mean, you'd have to basically... I only could think of one instance where a person had to be fired, and that was because this person got into a physical confrontation with a student. So, I mean, you'd have to, like, come to blows before that happened. That being said, that could be a good thing, it could be a bad thing, because, unfortunately, you get a lot of slackers and a lot of deadbeats. And they just kind of ruin everybody, and you can't get rid of them, so you're stuck with them. These people can create a whole bunch of problems. But then that's my personal experience, so I don't want to try to get into that. So another thing is that you get insurance, but this insurance is a joke. And it's kind of sad, actually. Because under the Affordable Care Act, it's actually in violation of the Affordable Care Act. A government program, insurance program, is in violation of its own law. And so far, last I heard, they haven't done anything to fix it. So as you can see, it's a joke. You can't really use it. I guess if you got in a car accident, you got seriously hurt, yeah, it would become handy. But I mean, if you wanted to get your teeth cleaned or you just wanted to go get a physical checkup, nope. Don't waste your time. It's whatever. It's nice to have. It's a little card. Um, if you're over the age of 26, you can put off having to pay the government for insurance if you want to do that. But yeah, it's a joke. Oh, and another thing I wanted to say. A lot of these other videos, they talk about people going out of state to do their Americorps terms, and I don't really see why they would do that, because every state, well, first off, with such low pay, especially even like $200, especially such low pay, why would you want to do it? Every state should have it. I mean, at the very worst case scenario, you'd have to go to the state capital. So, but I don't understand why people would go like states away to do something when, with how little pay you're getting, you should stay in state. But some people do it just for the experience or whatever. Parents are helping them pay. I don't know. But yeah, I've heard of programs that they'll give you housing and they'll give you food, but those are very rare. And it seems to be more of a Midwest thing. I don't, not here in the tri-state area, that's unheard of. But yeah, they'll give you housing. A lot of them will be like in colleges. You can stay in the dorms and you eat in the dining hall, which is cool. But again, it's not something which is very common. You won't see that very often. So in my kid's situation, it was both were very close. One was for the latter one was walking distance, so it was very convenient for me, especially with the abysmal pay. So going back into the student loan thing, because obviously a lot of American programs, they want you to have a college degree. Not all of them, but a lot of them will want that. And now they say that there's this thing that they have where they'll pay off your interest while you're doing the term. So I actually did this paperwork, but I really don't think it's worth it. Yeah, it's just that I'm trying not to get too political, but the student loan situation is such a financial mess, and it's a bubble waiting to burst. And there's this other guy. The only other video I thought was worthwhile was this video by this guy named Matthew Gonzalez, and he talks very into detail about it. But and it kind of goes back into what I just said before, because at the end of the video he says that he was having issues with the student loan company that or government, or if it's a government entity, about it, because they lose your paperwork and everything. It's just a complete mess. And no one takes responsibility with it, but that's another subject entirely. But if you want to do that, you can do that, and it's all good. Another sucky thing is that your education award is taxable. So even though it's not a job, but your pay is still taxable. And even though it's an education award, it is still taxable. So it sucks, but that's what it is. So what are some of the points? Is it a good resume booster? If you wanted to go into non-profit field, I guess it would be good, but seeing that the economy is just spiraling out of control, you're gonna find these days that a lot of people are just doing it for something to do, just to have something on their resume, so that it doesn't say that they've been unemployed for such a long period of time. Because human resource people are just complete imbeciles. So yeah, if you want to go into a nonprofit field, teaching, or I guess if you're in a rural area, farming or something along those lines, it might be good. But for But I mean, for the private sector, if you're looking for a private sector job, I don't really think it'll help. Cause it's just, you know, it is what it is. You know, I know it's a little pessimistic, but that's how it is. Um, I mean, I guess in my circumstance, it helped. Um, but again, you know, a lot of people are going to do Americorps just because there's hardly any jobs these days. And you know, they might not want to go into teaching, or they might not want to go into nonprofit work. So it's just something to say that you did something for a while. So I guess in that aspect it helps. Um, you know, so it is what it is. That's all I really wanted to say. I kind of touched all of the important parts. I mean, I guess I'll go into a little bit of my experience. I mean, you're gonna find a lot of disorganized groups out there because it's a government program, but they like contract with private or non-profit organizations for the most part. So you're gonna find organized nonprofits. You're gonna find nonprofits that are a complete mess. My first term with a nameless nonprofit, it was a bit of a mess, but I actually liked it more because we were given kind of reign of what we wanted to do, and it was awesome. The second one was a lot more serious. It was a lot more organized and structured, which was good, but you know, it fell into the trap of trying to be serious about something that didn't always need to be serious. But you know, that goes into my personal experience, which is not what this video is about. So it just needs to be said. So yeah, that's it. So I mean, if you wanna go into Americorps for whatever reason, it's up to you. There's a lot of negatives. There's some positives. I mean, you know, the $11,000, even though it's taxable, education award, is not something to laugh at. I mean, you can go to like pilot school for like $14,000. That's one thing to think about. Oh, and you can only use it for Title. I can't remember if it's Title IV or Title II schools. But these are basically universities and a few others. So if you want to use it for something non-traditional, you're out of luck. You want to use it for books, you're out of luck. You can only pay it to the universities directly or to the loan company directly. So I mean, again, government wants its money. So I mean, yeah, if you want to pay back your student loans, that's cool. That's cool. But you know, to use that money for actual like classes, I mean, you know, if you're in a program that requires that you graduate first, you can't really use it. But I mean, if you're still in college, yeah, that's a good thing. So up to you. But that's it. Hope they helped, and take it easy. Okay, sorry. Two more things I gotta say. First off, if you serve a half term, you do get money too. Just half. So 5,500 divided by 2. Whatever it is, that should be what you get. The second thing I wanted to say real quick was a lot of people will try to get a job at the nonprofit they're with after it ends. Don't bank on it. Especially in the last one I was in, you know, there were a number of people who were like dead set on it, and the logic just always baffled me, because I was like, and I always thought to myself, why would they hire you guys when they can have the government give them money to hire cheap labor, because that's what it is. You know, but some people are like, yeah, I'm gonna get it. Nothing ever happened, you know. There was only one person I know who actually did get a job out of, I think there were 18 of us. He was the exception to the rule. You know, but again, it's extremely unlikely, so don't bank on it. And you know, like I remember speaking to someone the other day, and you know, I'm not. It's just, you know, these are more non-profits, and you know, it's not like they're rolling in dough here, so it's not like they can just get a new position in. And in this guy's case, they actually made a position for him, which was pretty impressive. But like I didn't understand like what exactly he did. But you know, it's like I said, you know, if they need someone, they're gonna hire someone. But you know, they're usually not just gonna create a new position out of the blue. So keep that in mind too. All right. Okay, that's it this time.